Hey, welcome everybody to Battle Pirates Crib. We're going to talk about the new FM. We're going to talk about the Engineering Diary. We're going to talk about Short Fuse and a couple other things. I am not properly prepared for the show by any stretch of the imagination. I've been without internet for like 45 hours, and I got it back about 2 hour plus ago, less than 2 hours ago. So the slides are going to be not quite what we're used to, but we'll see. But it was a funny story, at least at the end. And you know, I'm used to losing internet when we have like hurricanes and things of that nature. But this was just people replacing parts of the sidewalk and cut through my cable line. And I was like, wow, okay, this happened.
So
That guy
Kicksat
was
censored you?
no, it wasn't kick unless that they were not wearing. I did not see them wearing the unicorn mask and all that. That was not. I did not see that at all. Um, but I did. After the guy cut through my line, um, I told him he did. He's like, "Oh, look at that! I did." And then I was like, and then and then I was like, "Can you rebury the line before you press, before you put in fresh concrete?"
Not my job.
And he's like, "Sure." And
Oh,
he had his people dig a trench, bury it underneath, and I'm like, "Okay, this is all cool." And there's like 2+ feet on the other side that are coming out, and I'm like, "Okay, this is cool." Then I walk away. And then I come back, and after they poured the concrete, they had pulled the line out, and so it was no longer underneath. It was just on one side, and I'm like, well, fuck him, right? And so this was a couple days ago, and so I've spent like 2 hours on the 2 hours on the phone with I had to borrow a phone because my TV, my internet, everything's connected to the cable, and so after like 2 hours and explaining everything to them, they were like, "Oh, we need to send a boring crew and a technician to hook everything up." So they just sent the technician, which I'm like, "Okay." And he's like, "Well, we're not allowed to lay across. We're not allowed to lay across the sidewalk. That's a hazard and whatnot." And he's like, "But let me go check with my manager about this." And he's like, "Well, this was 5 o'clock. It's 7 o'clock now." And he's like, "Well," I'm like, "I got a live show I got to do in 2 hours at 7 o'clock." And he's like, "Huh, okay." And he comes back later, like a couple minutes later. He's like, "Oh, what is your show about?" And he's like, well, it's a gaming thing about Battle Pirates. You probably never heard of it." He's like, "No, no, no. I've heard of Battle Pirates." And next thing you know, they're laying it on top of the sidewalk just so I can get the show going. So that was that was a surprise. I mean, it's a kudos to the Battle Pirates community. Hooking me up as far as getting my internet back up. I was very surprised. I thought I was going to be without internet and TV and whatnot for several more days. So I was, you know,
maybe he knows you and he's going to hit your base during. Oh no,
he could have,
yeah,
but
yeah.
it seems a little random that
A little bit.
that guy showed up. So we're only going to have a couple slides, and then we're going to go to the forums because I have not had time to do anything but briefly read through everything that's come out in the last couple of days. So let me introduce everybody. Lady Cat,
Hello.
Magic Mike,
Hi all.
and Derpy.
Red alert.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go to the first slide. No bug fixes this week.
No bugs to be found. You heard it here first.
None, eh? Yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Raid must be working.
Those outages were just random. Okay, good.
All right. And then short fuse. So,
I wonder if anybody
Well,
got any of that this week. Did anybody get a short fuse this week?
Yeah, I've had a short fuse all week.
There you go. It's
okay.
aptly named. Sorry.
And Hefe, how did your raid go since you lost internet before?
Yeah, that's amazing. A short fuse.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, there was, I found the raid more enjoyable than I have in past because of the reemergence of the Punisher created a situation where you did not need to spend your ass off and still were able to hit these targets for there was minimal damage, what I normally call it, unavoidable damage.
Yeah.
You could still do these for instant repair on the map as long as you were smart about the target. And I love targets like that, where like if you do it in a smart way, you don't get unavoidable damage. And I really like that, to be honest.
I was so happy I figured out how to do those, how to actually drive those. I was not successful in the beginning, as probably everybody knows, because I think I said it on the show last. And the only thing I didn't realize was there was pretty good point reduction though on the set, not on the set points, but I mean, you didn't get the what was it, million. It was more like you lost 100,000 or something. So you had to hit a few extra sets, but it was not a great big deal. I just didn't realize it till the last day.
Derpy, were you running that as far as a reduction in points using the Punisher?
I'll tell you the path that I took on most of my 132s, the driving target, I got about 235,000 points. And it was expected. It was expected point value of 250,000.
Okay.
So I was getting under points because the silos were killing more of the target than I was.
I was losing like 60,000 points. I think I tried to do some calculations, but kept screwing up. But it was around 60,000 points that I was losing. I think it was per set. Of course, you didn't lose the set bonus, but yeah. But it didn't dawn on me until later on when I'm trying to do some math, saying, "Well, I only got to hit this many more," and then I did some more calculations and said, "Wait a minute, that number doesn't match." So, yeah.
But at the end of the day, if you're able to do it for instant repair on the map, and you lose out on 5% of the points, it's not awful. I mean, the only thing that I would complain about was either way it was sort of a grindy, you got to hit all these targets, you got to hit like 40, 50 whatever number of targets, in order to get, basically what most players wanted. So
I want to call it an observation, not a complaint, really.
Okay.
Yeah, I did okay in the raid. I had coined, I coined my Gladius T3 before the raid, and I spent, well, Wednesday night I had computer problems, which is why Mike did the slides for me. But I did enough Wednesday night and Thursday to get VXP tokens, and I got 2 ships to X1. And right after I did that, I found out about the Punishers. So I wasn't real happy. I put all that effort into getting my Glads to work when the Punishers did better. But I used the Punishers, but I kind of just lost interest after that. I had a hard time. I had a lot going on this weekend personally. So, I just did enough to get by. I got the ship. I got the 5 specials that I probably can't use. And I got 3 shards and upgrade tokens. So
I did horrible with the Gladius.
Well, I was using the Gladius, and I was doing them fairly decently with the Gladius. Then I also played around with the Punisher, but at that point, it was day 2 or day 3 into the raid, and I was pretty bored of it. So I didn't play a lot the whole last 3 days. If it feels like a grind, I'm not going to play. It's not worth it to me.
Yeah.
I did end up with about 60 million points. Got pretty much everything that I possibly could have used, including one Orm Aquila rocket, by the way. If my plan better and started the Cloudbreaker Everest earlier, my shipyard would have been free earlier, and I could have spent some more tokens on my Everest and my Muners that I hit capacity for. But I got a whole boatload of points. It did feel really grindy to me, though.
I think I stopped around 4.
But obviously you got more points than you needed. So
I thought I was going to be under it by about 20 million, but because the token limits I didn't know they existed yet.
Okay, so as far as the how many Orm Aquilas were you planning to get?
Exactly.
Yes. So
I would have liked to have gotten the shards, all the 7 shards, because I didn't get any in bounty, because I didn't play bounty. So I would have liked to have gotten them all, but it just wasn't worth the effort.
Well, the last day is the day I sort of grind, because it's sort of like the end is in sight. So yeah.
I did that the last 2 hours of the raid.
I didn't. I couldn't care enough to log on.
Kelvin is asking, bet there will be a level lockout next raid. Isn't the Punisher, like I said, I've been out of the game for, a couple days. What isn't the Punisher tier 9?
Yeah, the Punisher is tier 9, and the Gladius X1 is tier 9.5. So I guess Kixeye would have to really deliberately lock it to tier 9.5 plus, which would be unprecedented.
And it doesn't appear to be in their capabilities. Like, if you look at it, there's no, if you look at the put info over a target, there's no, it's all whole numbers. It's not like they would need to spend a lot of time.
They would.
Yeah.
And the other ways they could do it, the Punisher is strong because it can shoot over mountains. That's the same reason the Gladius X1 upgrade is strong. Yeah. Now, if you wanted to make the Punisher weak, you could buff the radioactive resist, but that would make the Gladius X1 bad again. I guess you could make it the turret's unreactive or something, but that still wouldn't make it. That still wouldn't stop it from working. So they could take a complicated way.
The unreactive, I can see that as a path.
Projectiles would still do some damage. I mean, you wouldn't get the shockwaves, but you still do a couple million damage.
Okay, but imagine, because you're doing a ton of damage with the shockwave off of the Punishers, right? So imagine at the same time, the phlogiston launchers are firing at you, building up a shockwave. I think that it sounds like the solution from their side is to make them unreactive, but the whole, does the X1 weapon create a shockwave, or is that all just damage?
No, it's just a sort of line of fire that goes over or through mountains. It's just radioactive damage. So if they give the thing 10 million radioactive resist, radioactive survival, whatever number, it's going to hurt the Gladius X1. So there's no easy way to stop these things from working. But they've hinted it's not going to work.
Well, except for the unreactive thing. I mean, I think
that would solve maybe half the problem.
Yeah, but if you have a phlogiston launcher firing at your Punishers,
then it's also going to be firing at your Gladius X1, which will make those worse as well.
Yeah, yes, but I think a huge part of the damage associated with the phlogiston launcher, with the Punisher, is the shockwave. And so if it doesn't shockwave, right?
It's not necessarily a huge part. I mean, the shockwave damage is 12.5 million. Damage from one volley before you from one volley from one ship is over 80 million.
Okay, so you're reducing. Again, I haven't been on the. Excuse whatever I say, but it sounds like you're reducing the damage by about 20%.
Maybe a little bit more than that, depending on how many stacks you have, but somewhere between 25 and 50%.
Okay, so if you remove that damage that the Punisher is doing to, I'm going to pick on the Phlogiston launcher. It's going to create more. It's going to be able to create a huge number more stacks on your Punishers at the same time, and therefore doing way more damage.
Yeah, but that would also make it harder for the X1 Gladius to work.
But they don't rely on a shockwave, right?
They don't. But it would still be sitting behind the mountain, taking damage while slowly killing something. And sure, it will kill it faster than the Punisher will.
Okay, so let me run through this one more time. The X1 Gladius is doing 100% just straight up radioactive damage, while the Punisher is doing 80% direct damage and 20%, or somewhere between 50 and 75% direct damage, and the rest of it is shockwave damage. So if you made him unreactive, you would be removing a big chunk of the damage that the Punisher is doing. Because I don't think, like I said, I don't think they're going to level lock it. But if you made him unreactive and there was no shockwave, that would. Does that make sense?
It would make it weaker for sure, but I don't think it would completely eliminate the problem.
Well, you're calling it a problem. I don't necessarily see it as a problem, but what I'm saying.
Neither.
I think it would be a balance thing that I expect them to do. Can't they just make the target Gladius only? That's what we were talking about earlier. The Gladius is tier 9.5. The Punisher is 9.0. All the user interface stuff is in round numbers as far as who can attack what, and I wouldn't suggest that. And we're not, because we know they're going to do something, but I think what Derpy mentioned earlier, as far as making them unreactive, seems to be the most elegant solution if they wanted to get rid of the Punisher.
And I don't think it will completely get rid of the Punisher. They have hinted on forums somewhere, don't expect the Punisher to keep working. I feel like it will, but if Kixeye's telling you it's not going to work, then it probably won't work. And I'm still planning to build my Gladius fleet and upgrade my Gladius fleet. I'm going to plan for the Punisher not working.
No, I agree with you. I'm planning on it not being a thing next time around, or of more of a niche use, where you can take out certain parts of the target with the Punisher and then bring your Gladius in and maybe get the whole thing taken care of that way, if that makes sense.
And even now the Gladius is better if you want to auto a target, if you want to kill it more quickly. It's better for those reasons alone.
Yeah. Just so anybody out there, I'm not suggesting that they do things to get rid of the Punisher. It just seems like they're going to, and we're merely just discussing ways they could potentially do that based on what we've already seen in the game, as far as the framework of the game is currently constructed. So,
well, I think it was kind of silly to have a raid that was tuned to a fleet of X1s, the first one.
I don't think it was tuned to a fleet of X1s.
But the X1 to do it with better, or like the Punishers could.
Yeah, but okay. I mean, how much damage if you had? How much damage were people taking with their Gladius?
I didn't have 5 full. I know people in my alliance did, and they were loving it. but I didn't ask them how much time.
No, not saying X1, below X1.
I was not doing well at all.
I think 20 minutes.
Okay.
20, I got down to 20. I mean, it wasn't bad.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It wasn't awful. I mean, if it was 20 minutes on the water, right?
No. Well.
Okay.
No, I think
Yeah. It was okay. You're probably getting like an hour of damage, taking a lot on the flag, and so it was 20 minutes in dock. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, probably something like that.
Okay.
But I don't remember. That was at the beginning, and I was already frustrated because my computer wasn't working.
But that, like you said, that was at the beginning. That was at the start of all of this.
Yeah, I was doing
and if there wasn't, what?
I'm watching the YouTube. It says an error has occurred.
Well, not on my screen.
Maybe it's on my screen. Maybe my computer's messing up again.
Oh.
Yeah. Maybe you got banned again from YouTube. No, I don't know.
Maybe they're not feeling pretty today.
Yeah, I'm not seeing that either.
Okay.
So,
sorry.
Oh, good. But yeah, don't plan on. I guess the takeaway from Short Fuse is it was cool that you didn't have to take a lot of automatic damage. You didn't have to do, all this stuff in order to make, your Gladius work. You could use your Punisher, which was cool, but don't plan on using it next month.
Right.
Some of the Gladius targets did have a fairly high, at least compared to the Mutineer raid, had a higher barrier to skill level to entry. If you wanted to drive simply, you would take more damage and significantly more than someone who was driving micromanaging every single bit of the target.
And I'm cool with that.
You are, but Mike and I aren't.
Well, I mean, as long as it's not. The other problem.
It was the difference between
the other problem that I see associated with this was the fact that the 40 range was not shown anywhere, so it made it more difficult for people to drive because of the survival bonuses. The aura was not shown until they did the update on Tuesday, like after the raid was over.
Right.
And so it became more difficult for people that aren't intuitive on how to drive it. It was more difficult for people to communicate how to drive it because, just keep it,
right,
that far away. But now, in theory, we have, the range as far as the survival bonuses, the auras that provide survival bonuses are going to be in the game at this point, which is, I don't know. I feel a little bit late, but they at least realized that there was an issue.
Yeah, that would have been an issue for me had I been driving with Gladius. So,
yeah.
But I used my Gladius first day, second day, and then didn't touch them again, except to auto 130s. But was my get ready for work time or lunchtime. That's all I used the Gladius for was auto 130s.
Okay, are we done with Short Fuse, or does anybody have anything else they want to? Well, Kevin said the big problem with the raid was the 602. I don't. Anybody know what that means?
The 602 Mutineer target, I hit it a few times. I wasn't motivated to do it that many, but it was a fairly tricky target. Took about an hour damage on that one, which seemed somewhere between reasonable and high.
It took when I saw it's going to take 10 minutes to do this target, I just said I'm not going to bother. I can do the other targets to get the points quicker without having to put all that effort into it. That was a lot of concentration. So I had a short fuse, sorry.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, this is the end of the slides because I didn't have access to the internet. what did we decide on? Are we going to the update notes next?
Were you going to do the calendar here?
Okay, yeah. Let's do the. Oh yeah, let's do the calendar. All right. Right now we're in the. I haven't had a chance. No computer, so.
Okay.
The because I normally read out the things that have passed. So next week is the new FM, the XP weekend, the art contest, which I think Lady Cat knows more about than I do, and design diary. We're going to talk about that later. PV Hall calendar with a new format and more dates. I still haven't tried to fit it into a slide, but I do like the use of dates associated with an activity. I'm loving that.
Yep.
And we have Bounty the following week, and then we have a special event following that. And
are you sure about that?
You want me to pull up the new calendar?
Well, I mean, it's September 29th. I mean,
September 29th is on this calendar. It is not on the other calendar.
You take a look at that new calendar, and it's not quite. There's still something that's off about that.
Yeah, I don't like the new format. We'll show that in just a minute. But
the format isn't bad. They're just missing a week again.
Well, that one starts on October 7th. So I made sure Hefe went over this so we see the week of September 22nd, which we all know is Bounty. And then the week of the 29th, which some kind of Canadian event to be Canadian. So don't know what that is.
RB Mickey's asking, were people satisfied with the repair tokens, etc., for the outages? It appeared that the outages only really impacted the Australians because they seem to happen, late at night, unless, somebody was on.
They were fairly late at night for U.S. people, and I don't know what time it was for Europe. I think it was early morning for them.
Yeah.
I think they were fair to anybody that lost a ship because of it, because then you could repair your whole, a fleet. You could repair the fleet. For the rest of us,
it would have been better if people got, 1 hour repair tokens, 12 of them.
Yep.
But the idea behind the 12-hour, I can only assume, is saying this is you could lose up to one fleet in the target. We're going to give you a repair token that will repair one fleet.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense.
It does. We all want 12 1 hours because all of us could use it. But I think it was good for the people that were truly impacted by the event. The rest of us are just lucky to get them.
Yeah, because you can use them however, but I agree.
Do you want me to go to the new calendar?
Was there some reason we were going to hit BP next week? But I can't recall what the reason was.
To go over next week for what's happening next week that's not in your notes and what's happening.
Okay. Let's go to the
BP next week then.
No. You can go to the next one.
The calendar. Okay, I'm gonna stop this and screen share. Give me just 1 second. Okay, PVE Hall calendar.
Okay. All right, full screen. We have there's a new format. I haven't figured out how, because of my internet issues as far as working them into, I'm betting I can fit them on a slide side by side.
And maybe cut out some of the stuff around the outside. The text seems awful small for the amount of black space that there is here.
Yeah, there's a lot of black space, and there's, I did like the chart thing better. But
I want a real calendar.
As we scroll through it, I mean, it's. the thing that I do like is there's actual dates for everything. But again, I have not had a chance to, check everything, as far as is this right? This is meet up with a Gregorian calendar. This is,
I'm doing that in real time as we speak. Pillage matches up with my. Oh yes, Pillage matches up with my prediction, or
October 7th.
not
Okay.
necessarily prediction.
Then the raid on October 14th.
Yep, that's correct.
And VXP weekend on the 23rd.
That's correct.
Assault TLC on the 28th.
That's during Bounty. That should be correct also.
So Bounty's also that week.
Yeah.
Which
Bounty-
they would leave off the PvE calendar because they don't consider it PvE, but most of us PvE players know that it's PvE for the majority of the players. So. Anyway. So
yeah,
at least
I wish they included Bounty on that calendar, but
yeah, I wish they had included all events, whether it's PvE or PvP. It should just be an event calendar. Okay. November.
So you went to the raid on that one on
Pillage starts.
Pillage on the 4th. Yep, that's correct.
Is that the day we vote?
Oh, it's either
the day after. The day after.
Right? It's the 3rd this year.
Isn't it the 3rd?
Yeah, I think it is.
I don't know.
Well, Pillage starts on a Wednesday and election day on Tuesday, so yeah.
Yeah, the day after. Okay, and then November 11th is the raid.
Yep, that's correct.
And that'll be with the new ship,
which has an interesting name.
Photon.
Photon ECM is apparently is electron countermeasure, but a photon and an electron are different things. So I'm just a little bit confused on how all the science works.
Do we have to worry about splitting atoms or anything?
Not necessarily. Those are all subatomic particles. You have to worry about them interacting with other bosons and quarks and leptons and hadrons is the problem here.
That's funny. Okay. And then the XP weekend on the 20th.
Let's see. VXP weekend 20th, that's correct.
And November 27th.
Uh-oh.
What?
That's wrong.
What's wrong about it?
27th. It's November 27th is not a Wednesday. November 27th is a Friday. We got a mistake. That event right there, Assault TLC. If it starts on a Wednesday, that should say November 25th.
But it's 7 days after VXP, which was a Friday.
VXP starts on a Friday, so if this is on a Wednesday, it should be the 25th. Well, Kickside, you were so close. You almost figured out a calendar. Yeah, I was gonna give you congratulations. I was gonna start clapping, but you couldn't quite do it. November 27th is not a Wednesday.
And there's no special activity, so no turkeys coming out of your cannons or, no, nothing special. Right?
Yep, and both October and November have 4 Tuesdays in it. Actually, November has, they both have 4 Tuesdays in those, so they're not missing an extra mystery week. We still have a mystery week in September 29th. We don't really know what we're doing that week, and this is ahead of that. So
it's a special activity.
But we don't know what's being used.
Well, it might be the green ship again for Halloween. It might be a Halloween event. So we might have pumpkins coming out of our guns.
On September? Okay.
September. Oh, you're right. Never mind. I was thinking it was October. Gosh. I need a vacation.
They'll probably run the Halloween event during the Bounty Week there, October 27th.
Well, they don't have a special event.
They do right there. Special activity. We planned a small special activity to coincide with one of our existing events. I would bet that's during Bounty.
Okay.
So we can use a PvE fleet and have something fun or whatever else.
Okay. All right, Hafe, where do you want to go to next? BP next week? Did he leave us?
Yeah, probably. BP next week seems if we want to cover that one.
He's got to be on to change the. Once I stop presenting, it'll just stop.
Yeah.
For everybody.
Well, I mean, I thought they got the calendar figured out. It was just one number was off, and I think the holes that are being used are, I think those were accurate.
Who have you now too?
You got a
What was
YouTube error now too.
Mm-hmm. Please try again later. Playback ID pop on. See if
TSM.
It's working for
I
me. on my
told you about my history with men. You know they all stand me up. Anyway, he'll be back. Unless he lost internet. Unless he lost internet again. Unless it's cable guy.
Yes, cable guy was waiting for him to start the show, and
I told you Kickstarter was going to have the show, and they were going to take him off for it. They're going to censor it because they don't like telling the truth.
There you go.
Well, Lego is saying that Gillies said that they have received reports that the FL-135 target is only paying out 2,500 points. The correct point payout is 6,000, and they will be fixing it shortly. But my question is, who the heck is doing the 135s? Why would anybody? At this point?
Because they took away the 127.
And for people with Praetorians, I think Hefe's back, but people with Praetorians are the only ones that would be doing the 135s, correct?
Pretty much.
They took away their best bet at getting points. Okay, I'm gonna switch to. Did you want BP next week? Next up?
We've covered BP next week.
What you want?
We haven't update notes.
Okay. September Forsaken.
Is there anything in
there? Or the 1038.
Well, there's one interesting thing to talk about in the update notes.
You want the update notes from Monday night, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me go to your screen real quick.
I see. Yeah, I'm not too happy about this one.
Yeah, I mean it's CMGLE posted in Discord. We've received reports that the FM-135 is only paying out 2,500 points. The correct payout is 6,000, and we're fixing it shortly. I assume it's going to be retroactive. I have no idea. So,
I don't know how that would be retroactive, but it's been an hour, 2 hours, so I'm not sure how many people it's impacted.
Yeah. All right.
I hit 25 of those darn things already.
I had 250.
Okay. Are we at the top, or where are we? Okay.
We're at 1038 update.
Okay. I have not. There's this whole privacy thing that's popping up here. You can keep on going. Has anybody clicked on this? No. Go back.
Well, I'm going to do it right now. You can read their privacy policy, which I actually have done.
Because like again, I haven't been in the had internet for a period of time, so I haven't had a chance. I'm assuming it's just more legalese that we haven't seen before.
That's what it is.
Okay.
And it says it's been updated. The last update of the privacy policy was January 10th of this year, but it's been 9 months since January 10th. So I'm not sure why we're just getting this now, but probably some new law somewhere.
Okay. All right. Okay. Here's what we were complaining about last Friday. Was the fact that actually go back to the text a little bit. By request, the X1. It should be for all of them. Is it for all of them?
Nope.
Just the X1 gets the shield. But that's bullshit.
That's what I said.
Okay. Yeah, this though there's a 40 range on all the ships. I don't know. I think
So
base
each of
U0, right? This occurs, right?
Yeah, just building the ship. The regular 4 Gladius has a special special aura that buffs the survival by some amount, and the flagship Gladius, even just building it, has a special aura with a slightly different name that boosts the survival by the same amount. So if I'm driving with a tank and I move one ship more than 40 range away from everything else, it takes way more damage. So we're asking to be able to see those rings. Kixeye said, actually, we don't want you to see those because it's going to impact your performance. Okay, fine. Just give us one ring on the flagship.
But they were on the Punishers. They were on the.
They were also on the Punishers. I think you might have needed to get those to U2 first or something, actually. But this one, you need to upgrade your Gladius, your flagship Gladius, to X1 to have that range of 40. Why can't they just put that at the U0 on the flagship Gladius? There's only one aura with that name. It can be a range of 40. That will solve all our problems. But they put it on the X1.
That's
if Kixeye actually played the game like a normal amount, 1 hour a day, they would understand that a lot of players don't have their flagship up to X1, and it's something that's built to help players drive the targets and understand what they're looking at. It should be on the U0 thing, not the X1 thing.
Yeah. Maybe because you get this aura at U0. So why don't you get the
you get another aura, a different one at X1?
Okay, but why is the U0 aura not showing up?
Because they were maybe they didn't care enough. They were incompetent. They didn't know. No good reason for it.
Because the whole target was tuned to X1, and they were all using X1.
Yeah, this is not showing well on them as far as because the use on your Punishers it shows up at U0. I mean,
it might show up at U2. I'm not quite sure about that.
Okay, well, it shows. I mean, if you get an aura, it should show up on the map, right?
Well, maybe not every single one. I guess we don't need any from the ships for performance reasons. But as long as we have one at 40 range, that would solve our problems.
Yeah, but don't you think if you gain an aura, it should show on the map, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, then every single ship these days would have an aura, and I guess we just need.
But I think most of them have this.
But if they're saying that that is part of the performance problems, and they're trying to reduce those problems, then that might be why they took them all away. So they might be hesitant about adding them back because they don't want to impact that improvement they just made.
I just want one ring, and they chose to have the X1 instead of the U0.
We're gonna have that quote in there.
Yeah. Okay. One ring to rule them all, according to Derpy, but we also have one roll to rule them all, according to we don't have that slide available at this point. But the one roll to rule them all, you're already marketing that, correct, Derpy?
Apparently, yes.
Yes. despite whether you knew it or not. So, one roll to rule them all. But if you get an aura, it should show on the map. I mean, that
goes to everything. You're absolutely right. It should show for everything, whether it's a weapon on your base or anything else. We need to know what these ranges are, because some of us aren't intuitive like you and Derpy and know these things. We need to see them.
Well, could you see it fine if they just had one show up on the flagship? Could you stay within 40 range if there was just one ring?
Yeah, as long as I had a flagship. Wasn't one of my other.
Yeah, so if you just build 5 normal ships, well, then you didn't have a problem. So, but the least they could have done, I mean, I know only a tiny bit about coding. If you can make the X1 aura show, you can make the U01 show. There's no reason they should have had to. It's stupid.
Yeah. It should have been shown for all of them. I don't understand this, and it feels like a new thing, and it feels like a weird thing. Like like say Lady Cat bought a well, what would you buy? But nobody could see it. But nobody could see it. It's sort of like I don't know.
Well, I do buy things like that, but you can't see it unless I take certain items off.
Yeah. And sometimes they pop up on the right side of the screen, but we're not even going to talk about that. So, all right, we can scroll down a little bit further.
I'm trying. Let's see. Events.
Okay, we have 4 weeks in this FM, one more than normal.
3, 4.
Yep,
which is a product of the physical Gregorian calendar, not a product of Kickside being generous or not doing it last month or something. It's a product of the calendar.
Correct.
Yeah. And then we have that was 1 point is for, and then we have Sword of Legion campaign, which Mike you should do.
Which I'm not happy about that they changed their predictability on when that event would occur.
They must have a good reason, right?
Yeah, they knew I was going on vacation and wouldn't be here.
Yeah. It is one of those things that we planned on that would happen later in the month, and yeah, I do understand that people would be upset. Like all of a sudden, okay, we've changed it to VXP weekend. I do not understand why they did that.
Well, and it looks like it's consistent going forward. But I wish I had known on the previous PvE calendar. I believe it was there without a date, but it did because it was in the spot that didn't have a date. It looked like it would be historically in the same time frame. Okay. So I thought I was safe to pick that week for vacation, but obviously I wasn't. This is a game that makes it hard if you are away from it. Fortunately, I coined the damn things anyway, so it's not going to matter. What are you doing? You're not on mute, Hefe.
Yep.
Okay, now he's on mute.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know that the reason they moved this was because people were complaining about it in Bounty. I'm just not quite sure about that. It seems like there's some other thing that they have going on that it's just a weird change, and they didn't tell us why they did it.
Well, the PvE people did say they chose, because I was one of them. I couldn't do both, so I had to choose one. So that God, if it's my fault, y'all, I'm so sorry. But I don't think they pay that much attention to me, so I don't think it is. But PvE people couldn't do both, and I'm guessing a lot of PvE players didn't do Bounty because of this campaign. And it was a time thing, not a shipyard repaired thing.
Yeah, that's it. That was it.
Yeah, I couldn't do both time-wise.
I didn't.
So some of us do.
I kind of wish they would have put Gladius flag tokens, VXP tokens in this raid, though.
The flag VXP tokens?
They never offer.
Well, we had an opportunity to get the tokens in Pillage. Remember, was it Pillage?
But we had
do the regular Glads, so we didn't have to go through.
We got it when we got the ship.
Yeah, whatever. We didn't have to really go through VXP weekend.
Right.
All that pain. Now
and we don't. And if you got your Everest, I think Everest VXP tokens.
That's what I meant. That's what I meant. The Everest. I think.
Were they in there?
Whichever one. I'm confusing myself now.
You're confusing me now.
We had to do VXP for. We were able to get tokens in one of the events that.
Yeah, the last fleet that came out, the Gladius fleet in the last raid. We got VXP tokens for enough to rank up all your Gladius.
Exactly.
Right.
And
I wish they would do that with the flag.
In Pillage, we also got, as is normal, VXP tokens for the flagship, the Gladius flagship in Pillage. We did not get VXP tokens for the Cloudbreaker Everest, which isn't really a big deal to me because VXP weekend is this weekend. So,
Right, but
I guess it could be if you wanted to get your thing fully finished now and use it today.
some of us are like that.
Well, that's what coin is for, Mike.
Well, no, not doing it.
Only what, 100 coin?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a big deal to rank.
I might do like the next one thing before the next raid if it looks like it's cost effective. Otherwise, they don't get none.
Okay.
I didn't spend a coin on this raid.
All right.
Okay, so do Sword of Legion for the upgrade kits if you haven't fully built out.
Yeah.
Go a little bit, yeah. Because you're gonna get
5
of them, so that's pretty close to getting one ship to X1 as far besides slow build time. So, and then we have Hold the Line, which is
Gatekeeper.
Yeah, Gatekeeper, but Gatekeeper doesn't. Gatekeeper built. I already have 3 of them completely built, so I don't even know what to say.
It's I guess good for pretty low level players who want something. Yeah, I guess I probably could put a Gatekeeper 2 back in my base now.
Yeah. Okay. What's the engineering one? What's left? The engineering.
I'm gonna stop this.
Engineering diary as well as the
FM. The FM
as well as the FM briefing.
Yeah. Let's do the FM. Let's do the FM first.
Okay, I'm going to FM. I did stop. I guess I didn't have to stop sharing. It might have still worked. It might not have. I'm looking for it. There it is. Okay. Oops. Okay.
All right. Again, a 4-week cycle, and then we're getting. What's the name of the new ship again?
It's the Photon ECM, which is a really strange name.
Okay, the Photon.
So if you shortened it to its initials, it would be the PE. Okay. Okay.
Okay, and it is odd that they're retiring 2 targets, right?
But
I think we already talked about that. Right?
Sort of. Yeah, it came up. So we're getting new armor, new assault armor that's tier locked only the assault tier 9.5 or whatever the heck. Only the assault holes.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get a brand new 180, and they're retiring the 143, which we expected, and bringing on a new 180, which we expected. And then they're swapping out the 127 for the 135, which I don't think any of us expected.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that return, I guess, I don't know. I don't have the 127 anymore. I mean, the big thing that I take out of this is the 160 is going to be gone next week, right?
Next month.
I'm sorry, next month, yeah. So next month, the 160 is going to be gone. And that's going to be, is that going to be a big change?
Yeah, because the 170 is nowhere near as good. But I guess the 160 is score getting boring. I'd be fine with replacing the targets, except to keep increasing in difficulty. Although I guess my fleet's still getting a little bit better.
Okay, so have you hit the 180 yet?
I have not yet. I was waiting to do that. I've heard it's fairly painful.
Okay, is that one of the things you want to do in the next couple minutes?
Yeah, if we want to go through the rest of this post first, that's fine by me, but I'm ready whenever.
Okay. Well, let's go through this, and we'll have Derpy hit the 180. And
the
problem, get a break on me.
I mean, one problem I see is that, they give you free Praetorian so that you can do the FM, but they're taking away the 127 target, which was doable without too much pain, and putting in the 135, which was a lot more pain. And that they've just made the Praetorians kind of useless. So when are they going to start putting Everest and giving people free Everest?
When
So
they get
that
the tier 10 garrison fleet?
well, but they're not giving them a way to get there. I mean, people that are trying to catch up or new people are going to struggle. Anyway, we'll leave it at that. Doesn't matter. Do we want to go over the armors at all?
Okay, we can go the armors. These are for the Photon. They're not any different than what you expected.
Well, and they are in a strange way, but the
Okay,
point. But the blueprint and everything is pretty standard. It's you can see it's tier 9.5 assault only, so you can't use it on any Forsaken mission stuff. Boost penetrative damage, so we can assume we're getting a missile hull, and they give you corrosive or penetrative survival at a fairly highish number too, which doesn't mean anything in a vacuum. But they are priced at a.
We go down to prices. Skip over that.
Yeah, they're priced at the same, and we need supposedly 4 of them per ship, which has been potentially confirmed by Gilly, expected to have 4 per ship. But they're the same price as the old siege armors, so they're double the expense from 2 months ago. It is slightly less expensive. Getting 4 armors a month is still half the price of a Scorpio heavy railgun. So they went down a little bit from the Scorpio, but that was already insanely high. So I would say
so they've somewhat normalized the price. Is that what you're saying?
Maybe it's twice the size of the siege armors, but less than the Scorpio. But then we do have targets that pay out more points, so it seems sort of normalized.
All right. Well, they're letting.
Okay, I think Lady Cat, you need to go to slide 6 of the. You need to go to slide 6.
Okay.
I mean, you're going to need to spend it.
That's BP. Oh, last week's BP next week, right?
No. Slide 6 of what you have.
You're going to need to spend about 180,000 points on the Forsaken mission this month, as opposed to last week, where you could spend up to 280,000. So you have to spend less points than last month.
Okay.
But you get 4 a week.
You can get 4 a week. You need to get an average of 5 total between the 2 a week. If you wanted to get 8 a week in the first couple of weeks, go for it, but you don't need to get that many.
That's back to that 2 something number.
Yeah, you probably have 2 of each on your ship. So you need to get 2 of each a week, and then 2 other bonus ones somewhere in there.
Right.
I would go for 10 missile and 10 corrosive right now.
Which is good. That takes some of the pressure off.
Yeah.
Hefe, I'm on the live thing, not on the slideshow.
Okay.
So I can't go to slide 5.
Okay.
Did you want to come back up here? Because it does.
All right. Are we? Is there anything else? The design diary or the engineering diary.
There's that too. Did you want to talk about this new turret in the 180?
Yeah. Well, why don't we scroll up a little bit, because there's something else there we didn't read.
Okay.
Right there.
Strategy.
Right there. Captains, in retaliation to our overwhelming Everest fleet and the introduction of the Cloudbreaker Everest, Reavers have made some reinforcements in the 180 target. It is a higher risk, but comes with a higher reward. Basically, your fleets are doing too good, you're doing too well, and we keep giving you more powerful stuff, like the Cloudbreaker Everest, which actually isn't that powerful.
Nerf, right?
So they're making the targets harder because we're doing so well.
But they're not making them harder across the board.
They're just making the new ones harder. So
they're going to take away.
No. They're increasing the armor on the turrets to make them harder to take down. So it's a HVR versus K2 thing, right?
Potentially, yeah. But then there's also
It's not even
that one could seem, without having seen the targets and played around with all 2 or 3 different build variations, that's what that could mean.
Well, Derpy, please tell us, because I have the Strike 5 build, and if I need to switch to HVR, I need to know. Because that means I change everything. Well, not everything, but I changed a lot more than I wanted to.
I'm the same boat.
Yeah, a lot of us are in that boat.
Get where they're-
Rusted kicks on the K2.
I don't
All
know
right.
where the too good comes from. You
Then
know,
we have, yeah.
a lot of went before a night and going to bed. And
The targets are fine if you auto it, but people are doing too well driving. So
There's a new turret in the 180. This is the long-range thunderclap heavy turret, and it's not counterable. And I really like that it's telling what it's telling us.
it's long range guaranteed damage that can only be blocked by mountains, and that's it, and
Right.
potentially outrunning it.
But they're giving us more information than they've ever given before.
but you
But
can't.
is it evadable? Does evade work? You can't
It's
answer
not
that by looking
well, I
at
can't
it.
know, but
You
it's
can't answer that by reading this. I would assume not, but
yeah, probably not.
Rockets with high damage.
All right, I think that's it. So now I need to go to the design diary. Or I'm sorry, it's now the engineer diary. And is that still showing?
yep.
Oh, okay, good. So I didn't have to stop.
Very good.
Do you want the short version of this or the long version?
Hefe, have you even had a chance to read it? Okay.
I'm going to take that as a no.
Yeah, it's been rough not having internet for 2 days.
Let's see. They did an AMA, which we went over most of. There were some updates to that, but nothing groundbreaking. They've ported over 300,000 lines of code from an older language based in Flash to a newer one based in HTML5, and they've been doing that to make sure the game extends for longer than December. So they've done some good things in terms of load times, graphical errors, and increased frame rates. And done two very minor quality of life changes, and they're going to continue to work on this thing. There are some bugs that are up next on their issue tracker, some of which I think are pretty major ones, and some of them I hadn't run into at all. So
yeah, I've run into the SOS errors, so I keep going back to Flash because of it.
The problem is the SOS error pops up. If I try to speed up a ship that actually has 6 minutes of repair time but says it's 5 minutes, it gives me an SOS error and says someone else. It says more account open more than one place. My account's not open in more than one place. It's the issue with the fleet not repairing properly. So
that's right.
I don't get that one.
So they're aware of many errors, so they're trying. So if you're having problems, check the list of known issues. If it's not there, send a ticket.
That list of known issues hasn't been very complete or updated if it's the same one that I've been looking at the last 6 months.
I haven't checked it to see if it's updated. They still want you to use Discord.
And they have been fairly good at responding individually to posts with a level of detail. I don't know if Kixeye wants us to submit tickets for every issue we encounter. I haven't been, but they have been fairly responsive, and I think they'll work with you to figure out why you're having an issue if you want to work with them.
And how to avoid problems. So
and this was a lot of from the engineering diary or from the AMA.
Yeah.
So we went over that.
No,
they're still important to cover.
No. Go through it. Number one, ensure you do not swap tabs away from the game while it loads. Modern browsers will put JavaScript running on tabs in the background to help conserve resources. Like nothing's going to happen when you switch tabs. Is the way I read that, right?
What it says here is don't tab away from the game while it's loading.
Yeah.
But you can't do that in Flash either. So
yeah, at least I can.
I can't either.
Yeah.
I mean, it won't load till I come back. So.
And I did have a conversation with one of the QA people as far as when I load the game. I don't know if anybody else has this issue. When I load the game, you get the pop-ups for all sorts of crap. Well, not crap, but you know what I mean. But all sorts of things pop up as far as and one of them is like the RAID thing. I can't. It's useless. All those things are useless. I have to close them down because I can't on my computer personally. I cannot claim anything or do anything with those. I click on them and nothing happens. That's what happens with me personally. And then we went through okay, they logged onto my computer and I sent them a DX diagnosis and whatever. I have not heard back, but yeah, it's weird as far as some of the pop-ups. Does anybody else have that issue, or is it just
I haven't tried to buy RAID prizes or anything the second I load the game. So I haven't tried to interact with them, but I haven't noticed it.
I haven't noticed any either.
Okay. So go into your browsers and turn on hardware acceleration if you can. I don't know if some people can't. Turn off ad blockers.
Most major browsers, most people that are using, there's a setting in there for hardware acceleration that should be on, is what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing that because I'm still going back and forth between HTML and Flash.
Yeah, and then we have the ad blocker. So is this different between HTML5 and Flash? Because a lot of people are using ad blockers to block certain parts of the game, and I never use them. But is that what that's saying? Is it basically the people that ran ad blockers for multiple reasons? We're not even going to get into that. But it causes performance issues. Is that what they're saying, or I do not know.
I have ad blocker on, but I have to turn it off for Kixeye.
Okay. I run ad blocker, but I don't run because it's well known that you can run ad blocker and add in,
to turn on things like the gantry and stuff, which would be great if I knew how to do that. But by the time I learned about ad blocker blocking things like the SSRBs and well, they weren't SSRBs then, but it was too late because we didn't know the code. Whatever codes.
Yeah. Well, but all I'm saying is that if you're having issues, at least these top three I do understand as far as how they could interfere with gameplay, and then use the most, use a browser that's updated. Does anybody have anything more to say on these? Because it does seem like, something of interest personally.
Something else is that the game often takes longer to load right after an update or the first time playing in HTML5. If it does take longer that first time, stay on that screen, wait for it, see if it loads. And don't clear, I guess a really, really important one that's not on here is don't clear your cache after every single, don't clear your cache as, unless it's a last resort for some other problem. It actually will increase load times if you clear your cache often.
And you see, us Flash players are so used to clearing our cache all the time. It's going to be a hard habit to break.
Yep, Johnny Cash. So, all right. I don't see anything in work to come that's worth to talk about.
Thank you for your patience. Try it. Let them know if there's problems. Battle Pirates is almost 10 years old.
I think it's longer than that.
It's been the largest. Well, they're saying it's almost 10 years old. So
I think it's longer than that. I
we'll have
mean,
to have a party.
yeah. Okay. Do we have any? Oh, we have the engineering diary. Do we want to go through that, or
That's what this was, Hefe.
okay? All right. Do we have anything else? Okay.
The
Derpy,
art
do
contest.
you want to hit any of the new targets?
The 180.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, we can go to that. While he's getting it ready and loaded, I'll just tell you the art contest is for artists, not graphic manipulators necessarily.
And your art has to be ethical, apparently. I mean, you can't use a medium that's unsafe or unethical. That was a disclaimer that was put in there for some reason.
A medium? Now I have to go look for that. It also has to be your work, so I couldn't have called my daughter and said, "Hey, draw me a picture," and then submit it. It has to be my work.
It seems like looking at this immediately, it's
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, at least 7 sources of guaranteed damage.
Suicide comes to mind.
Oh my god. There's 6 mortars right at the very front of the target.
It does recommend you have the flag. You know that, right?
Oh god. And you got this.
Don't have to die, Derpy.
We should have a 12-hour token, right? Even though you probably only need 3 hours of it.
I think. These seem faster. Maybe I'm imagining that one, but I'm gonna keep moving. Oh, they're really. Oh no. Oh no.
Well, you're not taking a ton of damage. Are you taking something?
To kill the thing. Look at these ice patches. I have to go right.
No, you're
okay. Oh, we're getting pinch baby.
Now you're gonna get yourself.
I'm waiting for these rockets to fire.
They're firing right now.
Here we go.
Okay. Yeah, because the rockets are they're not counterable, right?
Right. But you can go behind a mountain and just sit there and let them keep shooting.
Okay, how are you getting in front of them?
You probably can't range.
Okay.
Oh.
But you will be well rewarded for your.
No, you get 20,000 points.
Well,
I'm gonna take 2 hours damage, and I could just hit 160 for free and get 24,000. 160.
Okay, 20,000 plus or minus. Okay. Who's going above 2 hours of damage? Because you set the over under at 2 hours, right?
I guess I did.
Yeah, it sounded that way. So
I think it's going to be.
No, it's over under. It's like it's a betting line.
Well, it's going to be over and under.
No.
I know. I'm just being an idiot.
You have to choose.
There's a whole lot of
over and under. I'm gonna go. I'm going over it.
I'm going over.
I'm going 3. I'm going
already over.
I'm going 3 hours and 45 minutes, at least.
4:15.
Okay. All right.
He's not halfway done yet.
It's about halfway done.
Is it? Okay.
Oh.
I can only see you. All right.
Well, I guess these mountains right here are gonna block it. These mountains are let me zoom in again. Are blocking the thunderclap. So
you should be able to.
And these turrets are taking forever.
I got the thunderclap when I was like, wow. But I was like, yeah.
Oh, were you a teenager?
No, I was like 26 when I got the thunderclap. It's all good though.
Well, and I've got K2 on my ships.
You got what on your ships?
I have K2 on here, but okay. I think the build I was planning on is going to be a good one to go for.
HVR.
Nope. Yeah. HVR on the flagship and the Ascension and K2 on the back 4 ships.
Mm. That's just nasty that they slow you down like that.
Yeah, it didn't appear that originally that was going to be the way they were going to do it, but you know,
They don't have to do that. I mean, you've taken enough damage with all that slowdown crap.
I think it's going to be way closer to 4 hours than 2 hours. It's not the
I'm
slowdown.
saying
necessarily.
415.
It's the guaranteed damage from at least 7 turrets in here and enough other low ones that my countermeasures are not very effective. The slowdown really doesn't bother me in most of these cases here. It's when you partner it with being slow while taking shots from everything else.
If you're okay, you're slow and that mortar keeps coming in. If you can get into there.
Oh. Whoa.
I was going to try one, but I'm going to go back to my 160s before bed. Oh, no.
I think High Velocity Round probably performs better than the Strike System 5 build in here even. Because it doesn't really matter how long it takes you to kill the thing if you're shooting down all its projectiles.
That's true.
But that's a bit of an oversimplification. Well, there we go.
Okay, in the moment.
Don't try this one at home.
447.
I had 415.
I wanted 447.
515.
Oh.
All right. I was off by half an hour, right? Oh, well, 28 minutes, right?
And I honestly think that's
cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
They really do. Okay.
All right.
Everybody think that's cool and side chat raise your hand.
Oh, the hose is on. Oh my God.
Hose is on.
The hose.
Oh, the hose. OMG.
Oh my goodness.
Is it a different game than he remembers, I guess is what I would ask.
Yeah. I don't know. Are Texas A&M still in the Big 12, so they're playing football again? I have no idea. But yeah, the host hasn't been not been around for a while.
Welcome.
So, all good. I put the link out there in case anybody would like to join the show, but I don't know. Do we have much else to talk about, Turpy?
Don't hit the new target.
I think he showed us that.
Let me show you what I was thinking with my Cloudbreaker. You just want to put all FUD 4s on here just to start out with.
Why all those FUD 4s?
Well, you gotta do more damage for the XP weekend. Maybe you can shoot something, do 75 damage. You never.
Okay.
They were more or less free, so that's a pretty good.
Yeah, but why it was?
That's cute.
Why not?
It's cute.
Yeah, why not?
This is essentially the build I've been running, Strike System 5. I plan on switching that build right here with Strike System 5 and K2 and Explosive System 4 to this one, which has Ascension Mortar System and K2 and RFX as the back 4 ships with a fairly low projectile speed at a whopping 130%. Then I plan on building the flagship, and I have to switch around the engine on the back 4 so I can have the flagship with high velocity rounds with projectile speed of at least 193% right here. Oh, this is the flagship build I was going for. Projectile speed at 213% with 6 scales and a high velocity rounds and the same engine. So that's my plan. The back 4 will be Ascension Mortar System and K2, and the flagship will be a countermeasure ship with high velocity rounds, and that's my plan of what I'm going to start building and refitting towards.
Okay. No, it all looks good.
Still no armor?
they got to release it soon, and I mean I have tokens saved up. I don't know how long the change will take me for my back four, but I don't know at this point if I would add explosive armor or missile armor. Probably 4 missile, 2 explosive, because we have that new thunderclap. I've been resistant on putting armor because I think it's coming out every week now.
Okay. So, I don't know what to say. Is there anything else we should be talking about? I mean, we've been going on for an hour plus, hour 23 minutes. And I don't even understand the game. And I haven't even been able to watch like TV or anything for like a couple days. I missed the Miami Heat just blowing up the Boston Celtics. And then the Clippers just like, wow. Yeah. Just die like bitches. That was, I mean, I don't even know what happened to the Clippers. That was awful for them. But I'm not a Clippers fan. I've been a Heat fan for a while. So, but is there anything else we need to discuss?
Let me open my chest roll first, see if I get a 7-day build token.
That'd be cool.
Would you look at that? Nope.
That's all I ever see.
I occasionally, once every year, I get a 2-day token.
I've never had
2-day tokens.
Never.
All right. So I need to go get another beer. So
well, I'm about done.
Okay. Well, we'll see you all on Friday. Hopefully we know more, and hopefully I continue to have internet. I'm sorry that the show has been different than most times, and I wish you all the best of luck with because we have the FM coming up, hit the 160. I think that's the best way for everybody to participate in this. And, I don't even know what you're doing right there.
Yeah, I'm trying. So what the hell?
It feels dirty, but
I got my new ship in. I got my Defender flagship.
Okay. So we'll see you all. We'll see you all soon, and I wish you all the best of luck. And we will see you on Friday. Later, people.